In today's video, we'll look at another one of your videos in the series reviewing your underwater films. Coming up. Hi and welcome back to the Underwater Filmmaking School, and thank you so much for tuning in again as we are looking at one of your underwater films today, again in the series reviewing your underwater films. Now today I have picked a film by Garrett Clement, and why don't we just jump right onto the computer and have a look at the film as we're reviewing it together, and at the end, as normal, I will give some feedback to Garrett and to all of you regarding his film. Let's go. Alright, I like this starting shot. Good cut to the music. A little overexposed, these images. Very cool. Very nice and close. I love diving with seals. That's a good angle. Seems like the water was fairly murky there. Whoa, that's a lot of seals. Wow. Yeah, they are playful. Oh, what happened there with the colors? Auto white balance, I'm guessing. Cool. They seem very, very friendly. Yeah, they love the bubbles. A little bumpy there. Oh, that's a bit overexposed. That's a nice shot. I like that. Cool. So we are a little deeper down here, I guess. If it is the same dive. Oh, that's pretty cool. Nice. Very nice cuts to the music, I really like that. Oh wow. Red light. An octopus. Is he playful? Is he gonna play? Not really. Cool. Excellent. Nice ending there. Life really is an adventure. Thank you so much, Garrett, for submitting that film and letting me review your film. Let me just turn this off. I have made a couple of notes that I would like to go through with you regarding the film. Now, I really liked the opening. I think it's a good way of opening that film, that movie. And I also did like the variety of shots that you placed in the movie. There was different perspectives, different angles. I really enjoyed seeing, especially the action with the seals from different angles. So that was really, really well done. I also love the music. I think it is a good choice for the film. It is not too hectic, but it's not too quiet either. And I think that you've done the cuts very well to the music. So well done there. A couple of other things that I noticed was your light positioning. There was a few scenes where I thought that you could have positioned your light a little differently in terms of actually placing it on your main subject rather than to the side of it, unless this was done intentionally for some reason. But other than that, I would try to really have your light positioned on your main subject. Also try to have your light positioned in sort of a 45-degree angle from your lens. Reason being there is the backscatter. There's quite a few scenes where you get a bit of backscatter, or actually quite a bit of backscatter on your images. So if you try to play around with the light a little bit and put it to the side a little more, you might get away or might get rid of some of that backscatter. I know, and there was the visibility wasn't great and there was a lot of stuff in the water, but you can still try to work around it a little bit by trying to play around with the positioning of your light. Now if we stick to the topic of light, I wasn't entirely sure why there was some shots in there that had red lighting in there. I don't know if that was a creative choice of yours to put that in there, or if there was any other specific reason. I couldn't really understand it from the video, so maybe you want to clarify or explain that in the comment section below. Other than that, I think that you should keep an eye out for where the sun is positioned when you're filming. Now, especially with the seal footage, some of the footage was fairly overexposed, especially in the upper part of the image, where obviously you were pointing the camera slightly upwards to catch the action, and you got a lot of sunshine coming in from the top. So even though that's not always completely avoidable, but if you can, try to keep the sun behind you so it's not shining directly into your camera lens. The same thing goes with your buddies when they are actually swimming towards you with their torch, their dive light. Try to not have them point their dive light directly into your camera, or position your camera slightly differently so you're not getting that light straight into your lens. Simple reason, because you basically just can't see anything for a second or two there while the light is going straight into the camera lens and onto the sensor. If you can avoid that, that'd be great. So just position yourself slightly to a bit of an angle to the action, and you'll get rid of that issue fairly simple. Now, from what I've seen and what I'm guessing is that you've used auto white balance on most, if not all, of these shots. You can see that by having actually different white balance settings, different temperatures, color temperatures throughout the different shots. Now, I would try, if possible, to match those shots as closely as possible so that it makes more of an impression that all these shots were taken on one single dive. I don't know if that was really the case or if it was several dives that you used to capture all these shots, but it just makes for a nicer like package, a nicer film if the shots are matched together and it doesn't look like they're just, you know, thrown together from different sources. Also, when using auto white balance, it can actually happen that sometimes during the same recording the white balance setting changes. The camera thinks, oh, I'm on a wrong setting, and changes that, and you can get a very quick shift, as it happened in this clip here, in this section here, where at first you've got a greenish tint and then it just switches into a reddish tint of your image, and that's just, well, very easily noticeable, and I would try to avoid that if anyhow possible. I really enjoyed the first part of the video with the seals. That was nice. You showed a lot of action with the seals, interaction. You showed how playful they are. Maybe it would have been nice to get some more wide angle shots of the seals, maybe also playing with other divers, but I understand that the visibility wasn't too great and it was probably very difficult to get decent shots in wide angle. Now, the second part of your video where you went, I'm guessing, down a wall and into deeper water, for my taste, that was too dark. There was a lot of sequences, a lot of images that I couldn't really tell what you were trying to show. They seemed very dark, and I just think that you didn't have enough light with you there to actually show what you were trying to show. Now, you wrote in your message that you were using a, let me see, a C-Live 2.0 camera and a 3700 lumen light, and I just think that that was not enough light for that situation, and I'm not entirely sure how the C-Live 2.0 really performs in low light. You could see on some of the images that there was quite a bit of noise in the shadows, and I'm guessing that it was just pushing the ISO fairly high to try to get some more light into your images, and that didn't really work too well for that camera. So maybe with a camera like that, if you know that it's not performing very well in low light, try to stick to filming in shallower depth where you get plenty of light and where you can also use the limited amount of lumen that you've got with that one video light to just highlight some stuff rather than trying to capture some darker areas which are not really going to turn out that nice. Having said that though, you can definitely use that camera and that one light with the 3700 lumen to shoot macro in different depth, even further down where it's very dark. You can actually get some really cool shots, some separated shots as well, where you can separate the foreground from the background by just illuminating the front of it, as you've done in some of the shots. Last but not least, I want to make a quick comment to the shot with the hermit crabs. I really enjoyed that shot. I put a smile on my face. I think it's a very funny shot with all these little hermit crabs crawling around the sand floor and the sea star amongst them. I just don't think that the place where you've positioned the shot, sequence-wise, is very clever, because before and after we're in kind of mid-water. There is no sand anywhere to be seen, and you kind of lose track of why this shot really is there. It doesn't really make much sense to me to have it there in terms of storytelling. Before you're with the seals and you're in shallow water, and that all makes sense, and then it seems like you're going deeper down, but then you're back on the sand, and that kind of doesn't really make too much sense for me. So try to think more in terms of how am I gonna tell the story, and where does this shot fit in best. And I personally would probably have put it further in front, like to the front of the movie, and I would have tried to have it as a follow-up from like a shot where you can see some sand and some patches of reef, and then have that shot in there. That would have made a little more sense to me, if that makes any sense to you. So thank you very much, Garrett, for submitting and sending in your film for reviewing. I really had a lot of fun watching that film. I think you did a good job producing that underwater film. I think that you had some really good components in there, and I also think that you picked some really good music for that footage. Now, what I want to give you as an advice, apart from what I said already, is try to think more in the way of storytelling and how you can actually tell a story with your footage, because that's what's gonna be more engaging and keep your audience engaged and watching the film. So try to think more in a sequencing way of where do I want to start. You did well with that first shot as the diver went over the reef. Maybe you can even start earlier with the preparation for the dive, with actually getting in the water, that kind of stuff. And then I'd really liked the end where you were waving goodbye to the octopus in the hole. That made actually a good ending for me. The second part of the movie, with the darker part that was deeper down along the wall, maybe keep that shorter or don't put it in there at all, because those images weren't, there wasn't much that these images were telling in terms of a story. So maybe think twice about putting such images in there, and maybe rather keep your movie shorter. So if you had just taken in the seals and some of the reef shots, you would have ended up with maybe a 1.5–2 minute long movie, and I think it would have been slightly better than having these extra shots of the deeper part in there that, in my opinion, weren't same quality as the previous shots that you had in your movie. Now, obviously, guys, these are my personal opinions regarding Garrett film. I would obviously be very interested in hearing your feedback, your response as well, and I'm very certain that Gareth would like to get some feedback from you guys regarding his film as well. So if you do have anything to say about his film, please put it down, your comments in the comment section below. I will also link Gareth's YouTube channel here up in the card section, so you can go and check that out as well. He's got other movies on there, other films, underwater films on there as well. You can go and check them out as well. And if you like his content, obviously you can subscribe to his channel there as well. Again, thank you Gareth for submitting your film. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you got something out of this video and it was useful. If that's the case, please do not forget to hit the like button, letting me know that you enjoyed today's content, so I know that I can make more of this kind of content in the future. Thanks again for your time. Happy bubbles, and I will see you in the next one.